Me and Alex, say my name, Alex. Bring the flame, my neighbors. Love and change, we'll be talking. Make it play, and Alex, keep it real.
No Jumper is back in the headlines, but this time it's way bigger than the internet drama. Ant Jefe, a rapper and co-host connected to Adam22’s No Jumper platform, has reportedly been arrested in Los Angeles on a felony murder charge. His real name is Maurice Shelmon, and according to the reports, he was booked by LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division and is being held on a $1 million bail. Now, here's where things get important. The full details of the alleged murder have not been publicly released yet. So right now, there are still a lot of unanswered questions. We don't know the full timeline. We don't know exactly what prosecutors are alleging, and we don't know what evidence led to the arrest. Adam22 reacted to the news with surprise, saying Ant had been doing well as a podcaster and that, from his understanding, Ant wasn't really involved in the streets anymore. And that reaction is part of what makes this story stand out, because No Jumper has always been a platform that sits right at the intersection of hip-hop, street culture, controversy, and internet media. But this situation is different. A murder charge is not a regular podcast drama. This is serious. This is someone's life, someone's family, and a legal case that could change everything for the person involved. The bigger conversation now is about No Jumper itself. Over the years, the platform has had multiple guests, hosts, and affiliated figures involved in controversy or legal trouble. And every time something like this happens, people ask the same question. Is No Jumper just covering the culture, or is it too close to the chaos around the culture? To be clear, Ant Jefe is only accused at this stage, and the details are still developing. But this arrest puts another major spotlight on Adam22’s platform and raises question about who media platforms choose to elevate, how street credibility is marketed online, and what happens when real-life consequences collide with content culture. So the question now is, what really happened with Ant Jefe, and is this just an isolated case, or another sign that No Jumper's world keeps getting pulled into real-life legal drama? So with this situation with Ant Jefe, I don't know much about him to give too much of an opinion. I've seen him on No Jumper, I've seen the rotating, co-hosts that he's had. And, the biggest thing was the RICO that happened a couple of months ago. I don't know if it was last year or I think it was last year, or the top of the year. And, that was a shakeup of all shakeups. You know what I mean? We always talk about Vlad and Vlad being the Fed, and these guys getting jammed up on their platforms. But, no one could jam you up other than yourself. Some of these guys get on these platforms and talk way too much, say too much. Now, I don't know if Ant Jefe did that or if he's even really being charged with anything. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of talk right now. I mean, it's pretty serious if they, decided to just come and arrest you. Usually these guys, before they go and they do anything, they've compiled enough evidence to be pretty accurate, you know what I mean? And it should be concerning to future hosts or anybody that's going up on that platform to not be so forthcoming. Some of these guys get up there and they say little things, slick things, and man, these gang units or these hip-hop police, they watching, man. They sitting up here dissecting y'all stuff, putting pieces together. Y'all using names and times and places, and they're putting it together. That last RICO joint, man, it's just crazy how you look back at some of the stuff that some of these bloggers have compiled to make connections to what the feds are saying about, that whole thing. And it's like, man, why would y'all go up there and do all that? You know what I mean? Showboating about your gang stuff. And it's like, if you in that world, and then you gonna be on Front Street, don't do it. You know what I mean? Don't do it. Or better yet, if you know you murdered somebody, if that's the case, if he murdered somebody, I'm not putting myself out publicly like that. I'm being super low key, because you make yourself a target. It's like an American Gangster, right? Denzel's character, or the real life Frank Lucas, he was good until he stepped out in the public eye, being too flashy. Had a fur on, and the feds was able to take a picture and identify. They're like, who this guy? Whole time they didn't know who this guy was. They didn't even think that their biggest drug dealer was a black man. You know what I mean? And so when he showed himself, they was able to be like, aha, who's this guy? Now they doing all kind of checking and looking and seeing what's going on. Not saying that this is what happened to Ant Jefe, but I'm just saying these dudes like him, or dudes that's in that space, they end up getting too exposed. And now you got people wishing for your downfall. They watching, they seeing, and if you got dirt, they connecting the dots, and then it's the perfect storm to take you out. You know what I mean? So that's my thoughts on the situation. This is food for thought. You do the dishes. Please like, share, and subscribe to I Am Me and Alex on YouTube, and stay tuned for more.